Hello, my name is Jim O'Keefe. I'm chairman of the Guilford Republicans. We're here today to present another in a series of videos that we're doing for GCTV to present our candidates to the voters for the November 3rd election. Today with me I have our Board of Finance candidates. To my far left is Sandy DeLito. Sandy is a newcomer to the Board of Finance, and to my further left, or closer to me, is David Egan. Dave is an incumbent currently on the Board of Finance, and seated next to me is Kimberly Brockett. I thought we'd start today's show with a little introduction from each of the candidates, so you will have an opportunity to hear a little bit about them and their professional backgrounds. We'll start with Kimberly.
Thank you, Jim. As Jim mentioned, my name is Kimberly Brockett. I have been a resident of Guilford for 9 years. I actually am a native of North Haven, as Dave is. I was the 11th generation on a dairy farm there. I'm the mother of a son who's at Baldwin Middle School, so very interested and active in the school system. Professionally, I'm a certified public accountant. I attended Cornell University, where I received a bachelor's in applied economics and business management, and also hold an MBA from the University of New Hampshire. I've spent the last 19 years of my professional career in various finance, accounting, and business management positions, the last 8 of which I have served as controller of Bishop's Orchards here in Guilford. Before I was elected to the Board of Finance 4 years ago, I served on the Park and Rec Commission, and I have been on the Board of Finance for the last 4 years. I've also been very involved in the town, in the Guilford Newcomers Club when I first came to Guilford, served as their treasurer for a few years, and as the treasurer of A.W. Cox PTO for 4 consecutive years.
My name is David Egan. I've been a resident here in Guilford for the past 30 years. I grew up in North Haven. I graduated from the University of Massachusetts in '65. I went to law school in California, and I've resided here in Guilford for, as I say, for the past 30 years with my wife, Helena. We have 3 grown children, Sarah, Victoria, and Justin. And I have been involved in civic affairs here in Guilford for, I would guess, probably about 20 years in one capacity or another. I've served as a Little League coach. I've been a commissioner of the girls' basketball league here in town. I served on the Inland Wetlands Commission for 6 years, and I've been a member of the Board of Finance for the past 6 years. In addition, I'm an elected member of the Republican State Central Committee. I represent the 6 towns in the 12th Congressional District, which includes Guilford, Madison, North Branford, Durham, and Branford. In any event, that's pretty much my background. That's who I am, and I would very, very much like to continue serving on the Board of Finance.
Thank you, Dave. Sandy, a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Jim. Hi, I'm Sandy DeLito, and I am a realtor with Page Taft Real Estate for the last 12 years. I live in town with my husband, Jim, and I do have 2 grown daughters, Lauren and Lindsay. We've been residents here for the last 20 years, and it's a wonderful place to live and raise a family. I am not new to public service. I have been on the Board of Assessment Appeals for the last 4 years and actually served as chair during our last revaluation and represented about 900 appeals.
Running for the Board of Finance, I am also on the Board of Finance, and our role is not one to micromanage the town or to set policy. Our role is very simply to determine what the town's annual budget can be and how much essentially, can the taxpayers afford to pay. And it's a balancing of income versus services. And I thought it would be good if we started out the program with a little bit of probably a little retrospect backwards. Where have we been before we deal with where are we going? And I thought perhaps, Dave, we could start with you to address some of the issues that we're concerned with as members of the Board of Finance.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jim. Jim, I would like to speak to really 2 points, all right? The first point is the matter of the fund balance, which we have been talking about for a long time. The other point I want to talk to is the question of where we're going with the budget in the near term. I'm going to make just some general comments about that budget, but I'd like to start first with the fund balance. And to those of us who are non-CPAs or accountants, it may be helpful just to make a few general comments about the fund balance and about its overall significance to the economic health of the town. The fund balance basically has been described as a savings account. You can compare it, I suppose, to if the town were a corporation, a business entity, it would be retained earnings. But in any event, the significance of the fund balance is that this is money that has to be available in the event that the town should have some unforeseen emergency, whether a natural disaster or something else. And there is a certain formula that credit agencies, for instance, use in determining what is an appropriate fund balance. And you can kind of work out where your fund balance should be by taking a look at what you have in your fund balance and comparing that to your overall annual budget. In the case of Guilford, our annual budget is around $75 million a year. Our present fund balance is $2 million. That represents, I mean, you can do the math, that represents about 2 or 3% of our annual budget. That is very, very low for reasons which I'll get into in a few minutes. As recently as 6 or 7 years ago, our fund balance was around 12% of our annual budget, as I say, and now it's down to 2 or 3%. That is not a very good thing. Where we have to go with this is simply that we have to increase the amount of money that we have available to put into our fund balance. Generally, credit rating agencies want to have a fund balance of somewhere between, say, 5 and 10% of your annual budget. Now, in the case here of Guilford, 5% of our annual budget, which is generally considered to be the absolute minimum, would be in the neighborhood of $3.75 million. So even taking the most conservative figure, we're almost $2 million behind what we should be with respect to our annual budget. So that's a problem. That's a problem. And I know Kimberly is going to be addressing this in a few moments in its application and its relevance to the credit markets. And I'll leave that for Kimberly to take up in a few minutes. The other general comments I would like to make concern our budget and what we can anticipate going forward in the next few years. As I mentioned earlier, our annual budget is around $75 million. That breaks out into about $48 million for the Board of Education and $27 million for the town side of the budget. Included in that $48 million for the Board of Education budget, we have approximately $39 million in teacher salaries and administrator salaries. Benefits are probably included in that package, and they're probably another $7 or $8 million. On the town side of the budget, which is $27 million, we have approximately $15 million in salaries and benefits, and about $4 million of that $15 million are for benefits. So that's where we are with respect to a breakdown of the budget, where the money is and where the money goes. Now, I'm sure everybody watching this tape recalls the budget negotiations last year when the first budget that was passed 4-3 by the Board of Finance, all 3 Republican members of the Board of Finance voting against that budget, called for a tax increase of 7%. As you know, that budget failed at the first referendum. It was only after the second referendum, after the second budget was presented to the voters here, that the budget passed. Now, that second budget, the one that passed, represented a savings of $1.1 million to the taxpayers of the town of Guilford. So, you know, that's where we are.